the world is on fire. There has to be a motivation to do things and to change.
You really want to be sustainable, but you work in a lab. It's very difficult.
Science is a horribly carbon-intensive practice.
Welcome to Technically Scotland. I'm Charli Corcoran at the University of Stirling.
And I'm Lee Murphy from the University of Edinburgh.
Across universities in Scotland, technicians are quietly playing a crucial role in making research and teaching more sustainable. But much of that work goes unseen, and often it's not even officially part of the job.
In this series, we're exploring the role technicians play in environmental sustainability and asking some big questions along the way. Throughout this series, we will be speaking to 7 technicians from Scottish universities to find out their thoughts on questions like, is it our job? Are we recognised? Do we share our ideas? And what would make sustainability easier for technicians?
This series was created to support the TechNet Scotland Sustainability Conference, which is bringing together technicians from across Scotland to share their work in sustainability.
The UK Institute for Technical Skills and Strategy recently released a report outlining how technical professionals in higher education and research are driving environmental sustainability.
But while technical professionals are making significant contributions to sustainability, it seems that those contributions are often under-recognised. So we wanted to hear directly from technicians in Scotland.
Hi, so my name is Pringle. I'm the technical manager for the School of Health and Life Sciences at the University of the West of Scotland.
I am Dr. Michael Capeness. I'm a lab manager at the School of Biological Sciences at the University of Edinburgh.
My name is Zephyr Liddell, and I'm a print and dye technician in textiles for the Technical Services Department at Glasgow School of Art.
Hi, I'm Novakova, Mira, and I work as Institute Laboratory Manager at the Institute of Immunology and Infection Research, School of Biological Science at the University of Edinburgh.
My name is Christine. I am from Edinburgh Napier University. I am an animal and plant science technician based at our Sighthill campus in Sighthill.
My name's Elisa Garcia Wilson and I work at the University of Dundee. I'm a sustainability officer based in the School of Life Sciences.
My name is Abby. I work at the University of Glasgow and I'm a teaching technician, and I currently work in the biomolecular teaching lab.
Sustainability isn't a side issue in universities. In many technical environments, it's a daily challenge.
Science is a horribly carbon-intensive practice, particularly if you're doing genetic modification and things like that. We have to take care of the waste in certain ways. We have to incinerate. We have to do all of these things.
Looking at how we can make particularly life sciences more sustainable, which has its own, I would say, not unique, because if you go to clinical settings or health settings, they've got very similar challenges, but they're it's like a perfect storm of things that make sustainability difficult.
Fashion and textile industry as a whole globally is, I think, the second most pollutant industry as a whole after petrochemicals. So the kind of discourse and dialogue around sustainability in the within textile department, within fashion, and within technical services for textiles is huge and expansive and ongoing, and has been for many years.
It seems across different disciplines, the message is the same. Sustainability or doing sustainability in a technical role is hard and it's complicated.
It's such a contradictory job when you really want to be sustainable, but you work in a lab. It's very difficult. But I think that's why this conversation is probably quite good.
But despite those challenges, technicians aren't stepping back from sustainability. They are leaning into it.
Across Scotland, technicians are leading sustainability work in labs, workshops and in studios.
Last year, I have played a leading role in developing and delivering institute-wide sustainability initiatives. By coordinating team of research group representative, I helped deliver measurable improvements that resulted in a Silver Sustainability Lab Award, which I'm very proud of this achievement.
So I've been the main lead in my building for this, and I've been taking the monthly lab meetings themed around sustainability, and also been doing the auditing and helping people reach the criteria that the awards set out.
So I spoke with our senior leadership team, spoke to them about the benefits of trying to become more sustainable within our lab spaces, of the benefits that I saw at previous HEIs. And so in 2024, SLT agreed to join up with LEAF. So we became a part of that, and then I set up a LEAF working group within our school in HLS.
As we've just heard, sometimes that work is formal, but often it's not. Not all sustainability work looks like large-scale projects or formal initiatives.
But at the kind of more basic level, I look at ways to improve sustainability practices, and this could include things like not making excess solutions, but procuring more sustainable items, or kind of downsizing some experiments with still getting the same results, but at a much lower carbon footprint and things like that.
In many cases, it's built into the day-to-day decisions technicians make and into the way they influence how students learn, work, and think about sustainability.
Sustainability is present every day, whether it's reusing Petri dishes in the laboratory or if we can re-release freshwater invertebrates after studying them in the field. We can then demonstrate these behaviours to our students, build them into our programmes, and encourage them to take this sustainable practice with them away with them when they graduate.
We try to encourage our students to be innovative, imaginative, and be at the forefront of change, because they are kind of entering the industry in whatever way that they go and work, whether it's as a craftsperson, an artist, or a designer for a large company. They're really going to be the people who evoke and create change.
So technicians are clearly doing the work, and that brings us back to the question, is it actually part of the job? For some technicians, the answer is yes.
If you look at my roles on paper, 5% of my time is meant to incorporate sustainability and outreach.
Are you provided with specific time to do that as well in your workload planning?
It's kind of threaded throughout kind of my workload. It might be a couple hours here or there a month, or it could be quite intensive, kind of week or 2 weeks a year. And in the last year, it's been quite a bit more than 5% because I've been the lead on our building sustainability initiatives.
For others, it's less clear.
I think sustainability has always been part of my job, informally. I think sustainability goes hand in hand with health and safety, which aligns with my main responsibilities. And all these activities are somehow, of course, recognized in my job description, because operations, health and safety, equipment, health, all this is included in my job description. But if you're looking for keywords, sustainability is not there.
I like to think the work, while not recognised in the job description itself, it is recognised in the workload.
So it's not recognised in the job description, but it is recognised within the workload. So it is recognised within our My Contribution meetings, and I ensure then for my technicians, and as that scales down, that it is recognised in our workload. However, as you know, technicians don't have that official workload allocation models that our academic colleagues do have. So we don't have that way of formally recording it. But I make sure, within our My Contribution that it is recorded, because we do have the LEAF working group.
And for many, sustainability work sits in a grey area. It's part of the job, but it's not officially named as part of the job.
I feel like most of it, definitely the sustainability relating to like not wasting chemicals and stuff like that is very much like in my job description. But a lot of it's just like, I'm really lucky that the team I'm a part of, we're all quite environmentally aware.
And having the work sit in that grey area where it's both kind of is and isn't your job, seems to lead to one of the biggest challenges that our guests talked about, and that's time.
It's a tricky balance because we don't have a lot of time. And we've got so much content, and health and safety, we are at the front line with the students delivering health and safety, making sure that equipment and space is used correctly. So that's like a major first port of contact. Then we have to technically advise, create work, and make sure that it's being done in the best possible way to create the best technical delivery of their project. Then on top of that, you've also got other questions to ask about sustainability.
Problem is that there are particular sustainability responsibilities I wish I could do, but unfortunately, I don't have really space for this in terms of time because it's not included in my job description.
The time is always a bit more difficult to factor in because, as we were touching upon, it's not recognised formally in your job description. So therefore, you've got all your other day job activities. Plus, we're doing that on top as most technicians are. And again, because we don't have that formal, model that we can say we are putting 10, 15, 20% of our time towards sustainability, it is about us managing that time.
We are tied to the teaching timetable, and time to proceed with certain tasks can feel limited. We're wanting to proceed with our leaf submissions again, but our department hasn't had the time to all work through the framework together, even though we're sure that most of it is covered in what we are actually doing on a daily basis.
So what we're hearing again and again from pretty much everyone we spoke to is that technicians are doing the work, but often they're doing it on top of everything else without that formal recognition of it being in their job description. It's work that they're taking on because it's important to them, not because it's written on a piece of paper and they have to do it.
So one of the obvious questions is, would things be different if sustainability was formally recognised as part of the role?
That would be much easier to justify why I want to spend time for sustainability initiative.
And I can also appreciate that there may be people who, don't want to be involved in the same way. So then potentially if you had it in their job description, they might feel more that they have to do it rather than I think things like sustainability are more led when people are more passionate about it. So it's that kind of difficulty because I think they work better if you're more passionate and you want to really help make a change rather than it's being prescribed by your job description. But then in other areas, so in other, institutions, etc., that then might mean that the recognition goes sort of unnoticed. And I think hopefully in the future, if we get to have like a workload allocation model where people can actually formally have it recognised within a model to say that this is the amount of work that they personally are doing or leading on sustainability would be nice. But
I think it is one of the most important things that you can do to help any sustainability succeed, because we all have full-time, busy jobs.
So why technicians? Why are they the ones leading this work?
Because, as the saying goes, technicians make things happen. And because of the position they occupy, it just makes so much sense for technicians to be in charge of sustainability. They have their eye on a much bigger kind of, much more of the process compared to someone who's solely there to do their own research. They have to liaise with a lot more people, they have to talk to a lot more people. And I think, having more technicians on the ground implementing sustainability, I think is the way forward. And that it's that continuity, as they are the longest lived people, and that's how you not lose kind of vital information or practices, by teaching the people that are always around how to do things or showing them where things are.
I think technicians are really good at is having a feet in both worlds. So we're there for the, we understand how the building, sort of the underside, if you like, of the building, how it will work. I know who picks up the waste. I know who, who the lab managers are going to for this, that, or the next thing. And you get to know how things tick and work, and all the things that researchers, when they're very, or academics, when they're very focused on their work, that's all invisible to them. Having that ability to marry the two worlds up together just makes it really useful if you've got a project or something. You need to, you need to be able to speak to all the different types of people that you'll be working with and what their concerns are,
So technicians sit in a unique position. They connect everybody. They connect the systems, the peoples and the processes, which mean they're in this unique position to be driving this kind of collaborative work.
We're the back scene, like the behind the scenes crew, the backbone of the university.
Technicians are often the ones who've worked in the institutes for a long time. They have this institutional knowledge that's invaluable for sustainability initiatives.
The technicians know how to do everything in general. They know the best way to go about things. They're often the most long-lived people outside of the academics, and they know all the common practices.
But it's important to say this work doesn't sit with technicians alone.
For me, it's difficult to say technician. I really want to say anybody who, it's not only technicians. So
sustainability in universities is a shared responsibility.
And we will be coming back to this later in the series to find out how many different people are involved in these initiatives.
But what's clear from our conversation is that technicians are often the ones driving it day to day. For many technicians, this work doesn't start with a job description. It starts with personal motivation.
My background is zoology. That was my undergrad degree. So I've obviously always loved animals, the environment, and I always wanted to go into quote unquote a green job. But I feel like as I go through my career, like even though I'm very early career, I'm realising that every job is a green job and you have to kind of like put that into practice in everything you do. You don't need to be an expert. This is not a science-based thing. It's very much like every little helps. Other supermarket slogans are available because, but like it's very much, it's just what you can do in every job. So I'm very much every job is a green job. But yeah, I think it was definitely my own interests. I definitely want to work in a green job, but obviously I'm learning that sort of they all are and they kind of have to be.
I mean, that is one of the things that helps me get to sleep at night, is that I am, because science is a horribly carbon intensive, so doing something that downstream is going to recuperate that in some way is quite satisfying, and hopefully I'll live long enough to see it implicated in the real world.
I think institutions are driven by their people, like unless you decide to say in a meeting, hey guys, what about it? It doesn't happen, and you just have to do it. If you're part of an organisation or an institution, you really have to be okay with saying, hey team, why don't we try this? Or who's around that we can ask questions to? Can we invite sustainability department to this meeting? What's their take on it? And I wanted to reference a book called It's Not That Radical by Michaela Loach. And, it isn't that difficult to just ask these questions of ourselves and then bring that into our place of work.
So passion is powerful, but it raises a bigger question, I think. Should sustainability rely on this personal passion, or should it be properly allocated and recognised in our job descriptions? Because while technicians are doing incredible work, it's not something that should sit in the margins and be reliant on people's passions and drive to do it themselves.
Sustainability quite often ends up at the bottom, not because people don't want to do it, but because there just simply isn't time.
If sustainability in universities is going to succeed, it can't depend on people finding extra time. As the ITSS Sustainability Report recommended, this work needs to be supported financially and reflected in our job descriptions and workload allocation.
In this episode, we asked, is this our job? And the answer isn't simple. Sometimes it is, sometimes it isn't, but in reality, it's happening anyway. And what we need to do is make sure that this fantastic work is visible, recognised and celebrated.
Don't give up. It's very important, and keep going. And you are not alone, and together we can achieve. I really believe if people with the same same ideas, same enthusiasm can achieve big things.
Thank you for listening to this episode of Technically Scotland. Join us next time on Technically Scotland, where we will be looking into the kind of work our guests have been doing and the kind of support that they are getting to do it. We'd like to say a huge thank you to our guests for this episode and for the rest of this series, and also to the Technician Commitment Collaboration Fund for their support as we bring this podcast together. Please don't forget to like and subscribe wherever you get your podcasts so you never miss an episode. And if you have a spare 2 minutes, please comment and let us know your thoughts on our episodes. You can also follow us on LinkedIn at Technically Scotland Podcast.